I never thought a simple business trip would change my life. It started like any other Monday. I was rushing through my emails, sipping lukewarm coffee, and counting down the days until the weekend. My name is Emily Parker, and I work in marketing for a mid-sized furniture company in Chicago. We had landed a new account in Denver, and I was chosen to head out there to pitch our new line of eco-friendly office furniture to a tech startup. I wasn't thrilled about the travel, but it was a good opportunity, and I needed something, anything, to break the monotony. When I landed in Denver, it was snowing lightly. The cold was biting, but the city felt alive in a way I hadn't felt in a while. I checked into my hotel and unpacked quickly. My presentation was scheduled for the next morning, so I decided to grab dinner and review my slides. I found a cozy little bar and grill a few blocks from the hotel. It was quiet, with warm lighting and the smell of grilled burgers in the air. That's when I first saw him. He was sitting alone in a booth near the back, absorbed in a book of all things. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a flannel shirt that hinted at strength without trying too hard. Something about him made me pause. I wasn't looking for anyone. After a difficult breakup 2 years ago, I'd thrown myself into work. But this man, with his quiet confidence and unreadable expression, stirred something in me I hadn't felt in a long time. As fate would have it, the hostess seated me in the booth right across from him. I tried to focus on my notes, but my eyes kept drifting over. I caught him glancing at me once, and he offered a slight smile. I smiled back, then buried my face in my tablet, cheeks burning. I told myself not to read too much into it. About 10 minutes later, a waitress brought over a drink and set it on my table. "From the gentleman over there," she said, nodding to him. I looked up, surprised, and he gave a small wave. I hesitated, then lifted the glass slightly in a silent toast. He took that as an invitation. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, his voice deep and steady. I nodded. "I'm Emily," I said, extending a hand. "Jake," he replied, shaking it. His hand was warm, firm. We talked for over an hour. He was a carpenter, owned his own business refurbishing old homes and custom-building furniture. There was a quiet passion in his voice when he spoke about his work, and it fascinated me. He wasn't flashy or arrogant, just someone who loved what he did. We talked about travel, food, even our favorite childhood books. It felt easy, natural, like we'd known each other longer than just an hour. When it was time to go, he walked me back to the hotel. The wind had picked up, and I wrapped my scarf tighter. "Let me walk you to the door," he offered. "Thank you. It's nice having someone around who's not in a rush to check their phone every 2 seconds. He laughed. "Guilty as charged. I leave mine in the truck most of the time." At the entrance, we stood there for a moment, neither of us eager to end the night. "Good luck with your presentation," he said. "Thanks. Maybe I'll see you around." "You will," he said, with that same quiet smile. I thought about him all night. There was something grounding about Jake, something honest. I wasn't sure what it was yet, but it stuck with me. The next morning, my presentation went better than expected. The startup CEO loved our line, and we signed a contract before lunch. I felt a rush of relief and excitement. I had a free evening before my return flight the next morning, and part of me hoped I'd run into Jake again. And I did. He was in the same booth at the restaurant. This time, he waved me over as soon as I walked in. We talked again, even longer than the night before. Somewhere between shared fries and stories about childhood camping trips, I realized I was smiling more than I had in months. "You want to see something?" he asked suddenly, his eyes gleaming. "What do you mean?" "I want to show you something I'm working on. It's just outside the city, if you're up for it." I hesitated. "Is it safe?" He grinned. "It's a project house. I'm rebuilding the inside. You can say no." "No," I said, surprising myself. "Let's go." We drove out to the edge of town. The snow was falling again, but lightly. The house was a beautiful old Victorian, its frame strong but weathered. Jake unlocked the door and ushered me inside. The warmth of the wood-burning stove hit me first. Then I saw the inside, polished beams, hand-carved staircase railings, stained glass windows he was restoring by hand. "This is beautiful," I said, breathless. You did all this?
Yeah.
Still a work in progress. But she's coming along. I walked through the rooms slowly. It felt like walking through someone's dream, carved into wood and light. Jake showed me a long dining table he had made himself. It was stunning, smooth, dark oak, with hand-inlaid patterns. I ran my fingers over the surface. This is bigger than anything I've ever seen, I whispered, half to myself. The detail, the time this must have taken. Jake smiled. It changes you when you work with your hands. You learn patience. You see beauty in the flaws. That sentence stayed with me. We stood by the fireplace, the glow warming our faces. I looked at him and saw not just a man, but someone who had built a life with care, with purpose. That night wasn't about romance. It was about connection, about learning that there were still people who created, who cared, who stayed grounded in a world that often wasn't. He drove me back late and we didn't kiss. He just held my hand for a long moment and said, "Safe travels, Emily." I flew back to Chicago the next morning, my mind swirling. I couldn't stop thinking about Jake, his work, his house, his world so different from mine. I went back to the office, but everything felt different. The buzz of meetings, the glare of screens, it all seemed smaller now, less meaningful. 2 weeks later, I sent him a message. I had kept his number, scribbled on the back of a receipt. Thinking about that house you showed me, I wrote, "Would love to see how it's coming along." He replied the same evening, "It misses you." So, do I. I went back that weekend. Then, again, 2 weekends later. Soon I was flying out more often, helping with small things, sanding wood, painting walls, even helping him choose tiles for the kitchen. We were building something together and not just a house. 6 months later, I made the decision to leave Chicago. I took a job in Denver that paid less, but gave me more time. Time to help Jake with his projects, to explore this new part of myself that had emerged. The part that valued slow mornings, meaningful work, quiet joy. Jake taught me that bigger didn't always mean louder or flashier. Sometimes, the biggest things in life are made from patience, honesty, and passion. His world, his heart, was bigger than anything I'd ever seen. And it changed me in the best possible way. And that, I've learned, is what real transformation looks like. Not always sudden, not always dramatic, but steady, strong, and built to last.